Normally, like I said, I'm behind the camera, so I'm not really like, how do I record this? Or usually I record on my channel alone, so it's really different. So we're here to talk about Mandalorian Chapter 9, The Marshal. And but before I start, I guess you guys go introduce yourselves.
Steve, you're the elder statesman.
Yeah. Damn it, I am the older one here somehow. Yeah, so I'm the General Steve Reisner, at Reisner_Steven on Twitter, the co-founder of Blue Collar Media Group. Mark here does all our little video editings and now he's on camera with the General.
He does
exist. The second time, maybe. Yeah, he's not just in the backround.
Yeah,
he is a real person. We didn't just make him up.
Yeah. I mean, I mean, it's because like sometimes like when you guys do ITL and I get mentioned, I'm like, do I edit myself in here or something? So I'm usually
just throw a quick picture of yourself in there.
I know,
That's a good idea.
Well, I'm Just Tyler, part of the Blue Lot Boys, and you can find me on Twitter at CigarsAreLife56.
Yeah, and I'm Just Luke. No, you're not my father. Every time you say that, you have to send me $1.
Oh my God!
And then I have to send 50 cents to Disney.
Dude, like,
I'm just gonna cut and clear that right now.
Yeah, I was gonna say Disney's taking some of that money.
Yeah.
Taking 50 cents.
Oh my God!
I mean, they're not big on letting any of their properties go without getting them money.
Yeah, they're not. So you can follow me on Twitter at Hearts on Hockey. You can find me on the Blue Lot, the Puckleheads, ITL every Wednesday. I'm just really excited for this season, so I'm ready to talk about it.
Yeah, sweet. It's funny, well, real quick, when you mentioned your name, I think last week's episode in ITL, when you mentioned like the Death Star and stuff, I was like, man, this is so coincidental. You're Luke.
Yeah.
And I wanted to put
yes.
Because I edited Luke destroying the Death Star, but I put Tom Brady's face.
Right.
But I wanted to put your face, but it didn't really make sense with it.
Right.
So,
that would have been perfect.
Yeah. All right. So I guess the most general thing, like to start off with, is like thoughts on the episode. I guess I'll just start off there first. I love it. I love how this episode really started. Like it didn't really feel like a big time lapse. It just continued to the next episode. The one thing that I really like about The Mandalorian is that they base it all off on Westerns, like The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and Fistful of Dollars and stuff, just with Star Wars. And I know the original films sort of do that, but they incorporate elements from like samurai and stuff like that with the Jedi. So I really liked how this whole episode, even though it's plot driven, which is trying to find Jedis, or at least this case, trying to find Mandalorians to find Jedis for Baby Yoda, or the child. This episode really felt like a one-off adventure, but even for just a little adventure, they added in a lot of plot threads that fans have wanted from, or at least one certain answer that fans have wanted since 1983. So, but I guess my general thing is I really liked it. I guess we'll start off with Steve. What's your thoughts on the episode?
I absolutely loved it. Right, I started watching it on my way into work. I was like, oh, hey, I'll throw this on. And I watched like the first 5 minutes on the train at, 10 past 5 in the morning. And I'm like, this shit deserves way more than my attention span at just rolling out of bed on my first cup of coffee. I was like, this is good.
Right. Yeah.
And it was, like you said, that felt like a one-off adventure, but like, it clearly wasn't. Like, Cobb Vanth, the Marshal, that could have just been a random spin-off character, but they got Timothy Olyphant to do it, and you don't just bring in Timothy Olyphant to do one episode.
Yeah.
That would be stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
to do that.
Yeah.
And I'm obviously with like the ending of that, there's a lot of building going on in that episode.
Yeah. I'm trying to like figure out like if we I guess you already mentioned Timmy Olyphant, and so I don't want. Because I was trying to figure out like do we just go straight to spoilers and talk about certain things?
That's what.
I get. Should we put a spoiler alert?
Yeah, if you're listening to this episode, right now, you should have already watched it.
Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. We're recording this late Saturday afternoon. You're not going to have it out till Monday or Tuesday. If you haven't watched it by then, man, that's kind of your fault.
It's your fault.
Yep, 100% your fault.
It's 100% your fault.
It's only an hour, man. I did it.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, the way I watched it, I did it like the most horrible way. I stayed up till like 2 a.m. to watch it, and then I don't know if any of you saw Disney Plus kind of crashed at 6 o'clock, so I had to wait an extra hour, and then by the time the episode was done, it was like 4, and I was very I felt really old. Like I felt super dead and tired. Yesterday I couldn't. Yesterday I wanted to like edit the videos and stuff for ITL, but I was like, nah, I'm gonna take a break. I'm gonna.
Yeah, it would be good. Yeah. So our thoughts really. I like the fact that Tusken Raiders aren't being like completely savages. Like in years past, they're using them, they're incorporating them. I feel like there's a lot more background with secondary characters like that. So I think that's a huge thing for The Mandalorian, because all we've seen in the past is that they're these savage creatures that do whatever they want.
That was a great use of the Tusken Raiders. That's a great point.
Like, I like the incorporation with the Tusken Raiders for sure.
Yeah.
The whole overall episode, I knew it was going to be good right at the beginning when the child literally creeps up out of his casket and hits the button. And
yeah.
I already knew.
What's Mando say? The guy's like, oh, you got to do this kind of violence. Oh, no, that's when he meets Van.
That's when he meets the Marshal.
For the child who's like, he's seen worse.
Yeah. as soon as he crept out, put his hand on the thing, hit the button, thing closed up, I knew it was going to be a great episode, honestly.
Yeah.
So, it was a great way to start the season.
Yeah, same. When you mentioned the Tusken Raiders, sorry, I just wanted to jump on that. I was reading a article. Well, it's not even an article. It was just like someone's like kind of giving information about that they actually got someone who was actually deaf to do the sign language for the Tusken Raiders. And I thought, wow, that's like, because I know like Star Wars now being owned by Disney, it's not bad, but like to a degree, but like they want to be inclusive, and I thought that was a really good way of being inclusive. Not just bringing that, but they also made the Tusken Raiders like they gave them like a different side, because from what I've always seen in the original films and even the prequels, they've always been like I mean, the last time I saw them on screen, I think was episode 2, and Anakin killed them all because they did this horrible thing to his wife, and so it's like my mindset's like, oh, these guys are horrible, and then with the Mandalorian, it's like, no, they're just people, they're just doing their own thing. They're all like people are.
Anakin also had a really deep hatred for sand, so it wasn't just about what they did to his wife. You gotta like, he didn't like sand in general.
Yeah, and they're called sand people, so I guess there is.
It set him off.
So what about you, Tyler? What did you think?
So I'm a big Zelda guy as well. So I find it ironic that Mandalorians killed 2 big creatures. So if you played the latest Zelda, you only need 2 more and you can face Ganondorf. So.
Oh yeah.
Oh hey, whoa.
So that's my analogy there.
Yeah. I was thinking totally a different analogy when you mentioned that, because I like when they killed the creature and then the Tusken Raiders find that it's like a.
Is
pearl.
it an egg or is it a pearl?
I said it's a pearl.
Yeah. It's like it was a pearl thing, and it kind of reminded me of season 1 when the Mandalorian killed that one creature and he gets the egg, and so I was like, oh, that's
the Mudhorn.
Yeah, the Mudhorn. Yeah, and so when you mentioned Zelda, I was thinking, oh yeah, like they got their little treasure by killing this creature. I was like, oh, that's pretty neat. That's pretty cool. What do you call it? So since we mentioned Timmy Olyphant, the one thing I really want to get everyone's opinion on, because I know he's like a beloved character. I have my own opinions on it, but when they did that whole reveal, like, oh, there's a Mandalorian in Tatooine, and then obviously fans are gonna be like, oh my gosh, Boba Fett. When they did the reveal of that armor, I guess I want to know what your thoughts was that. Like, did you like it, hate it? Do you think he should have kept the armor, or I don't know? I guess we'll start with Steve.
Well, see, the thing is, before we say that, should he have kept the armor, I imagine that we're going to find out more of why he gave up the armor. Because I don't think, not to go way too nerdy and into the lore here, but I don't think Boba would just give up
Yeah.
the Mandalorian armor. There was something there, and I also don't think they would just put Boba into the end of the episode
Like for
if
nothing,
we weren't
right?
gonna. Yeah, like that would. I would be pissed if we don't find out more about what's been going on with Boba if they just threw him in at the end of the episode and do nothing for me.
Yeah.
Like I'll be down at Disney, like like knocking on the door, like, dude, you gotta give me answers now, all right?
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah. Oh my god. The thing that I did like in this episode, which goes to what you're saying, is when Timothy Olyphant was doing. The reason I'm saying his name is because I don't remember his character's name other than the Marshal. That's my fault. But when he was giving his background when he first got the armor, is that I liked how they showed a flashback to Return of the Jedi when the second Death Star got destroyed. That might not be that big a deal to some people, but for me, it kind of shows that that John Favreau and the creators are more than fine in showing flashbacks to events from the original trilogy that we've never really seen, or at least from a different perspective. So from showing the armor and then showing the reveal and the ending, it made me think like, okay, once we show Boba Fett, like the real one, I'm pretty sure there's going to be a flashback, hopefully. Because the Mandalorian hasn't really let me down on stuff like that. But I feel like they're going to show a flashback on the events after Return of the Jedi. Maybe he got it stolen from the Jawas, because they did steal Mondo's ship, at least parts of his ship. So I could see Boba Fett getting like unconscious after the Sarlacc pit, and they just steal his armor because it's worth a lot of money. You know, it's like as that one gangster guy in the beginning of the episode said, it's like it's worth a lot, and it gets more higher up in price value. Luke, what about you? What do you think?
Honestly, hopefully my expectation is that Boba puts the armor back on, and so does the Marshal.
Mm-hmm.
They'll bring the Marshal in at the end. That would be my hope, honestly.
He wore the armor well, the Marshal.
Well, that was one of the things like we noticed. We're like, he really knows how to use that armor for just finding it off of Jawas.
Yeah, he was pretty good with it.
Yeah, off of their sand speeder or sand dune.
Yeah,
but I think that's my expectations. That's what I want to see. I want to see the Marshal put the armor back on. Hopefully, we get more of the background story. But it finally, like, I really didn't know what time period this really took place in.
Mm-hmm.
I still kind of struggled with it, and then when they said that it was after the second Death Star blew up, it kind of finally put it into a timeline for me, so I can put 2 and 2 together. Yeah, so I was really glad that they did that for me, honestly.
Yeah. When it comes to the timeline stuff, that confuses me too. I know they're on record, like through interviews, they say it takes place 5 years after Return of the Jedi. But for us fans, like, or at least the way it's shown on screen, we can't really tell. I even had one of my friends who, like, he likes Star Wars, but he's not like a diehard fan. But he watches the show, and he got confused thinking it was that the Mandalorian was taking place like I guess before Force Awakens, within like maybe like a year before Force Awakens or something. So he was confused, and so
it's not an easy timeline to keep on.
Nah. Especially like, I mean, in my mind, like I try to keep certain. I try to figure things out a little bit, and I mean, there's gonna be more to it when another topic I'm going to talk about. But yeah, it confuses me. What about Tyler? What about you?
So my first thoughts when they reveal the Marshal is that armor is beat up. So I wonder what happened between the last time we saw it now, because the shoulder pads are real beat up, the helmet's even worse than. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do with that, and I just like how that was I just couldn't think of any better person to play it. Just the way he walks, the way the way he smirks when he talks and stuff. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, of course. He really gives off like a really cool attitude. Like I guess I've never seen all the show, the whole series he was in, Justified. But when I heard the rumors during the summer that he was going to be Boba Fett, I was like, oh, that's perfect. It really, he like, it's not that him playing Boba Fett, but him playing at least someone in a Mandalorian armor, like being a badass. I could see that. There is something, and it just hit me right now. With all this like speculation about the armor or why Boba Fett is just like he's alive, but you know we don't know why he doesn't have it. I don't know if you all remember in season 1 there was that episode when Mondo first goes to Tatooine and he does his job to get I forgot her name. She comes out in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're trying to get another bounty hunter. Yeah. And that episode ended with a kind of after credits, but it wasn't even after credits, but it ended right when the episode ended. Like she's still alive, and you see someone walking to her with spurs and stuff.
Yeah,
I used to think that was Boba Fett, and it could still be him. I just thought it was him in the suit, but I guess that's not the case now. I guess like what I'm trying to think is, do you think that's going to play out even more so in this season, like in the sense of like is Boba Fett gonna be the arch rival to Mondo? I know that sounds dumb. But
no, it's not dumb.
It's kind of how it felt from him watching them leave.
Yeah, I can honestly see that after that whole thing happened at the Sarlacc pit, him being like, well, none of the other Mandalorians came to help me. And it was bullshit that the guild didn't help, and like he took his armor off because he felt betrayed or something like that. Like that's what I could see happening.
I think it was like extreme poker game. Him in the jaw.
Right.
Hey, it could have been. He might have a gambling problem.
Yeah.
We might have a gambling problem.
Then that might be something that like Disney wants to go into, is like gambling addiction. I don't know.
Right.
But you know, I have to say this. So that's an abandoned Sarlacc pit.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and they said they'd never heard of an abandoned. So they Mando speculates that this new creature that
ate it.
Ate it, which is kind of crazy.
Badass.
Well, we know that Boba and the armor made it out of that Sarlacc pit, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Pretty
So
sort of.
I do. Do we not know that Boba could have killed it?
Yeah.
I mean, more likely. I mean, the thing is.
I mean, I know that's crazy, but
nah.
Is it that crazy?
It's a definite possibility. Like when I've never really full on read into the information or like the books, but I used to remember there was like after Return of the Jedi came out, fans have always been like, oh, Boba Fett survived the Sarlacc pit. Oh, his armor it doesn't bend that easily, so he could, survive. And I never really got into it. And I think that's what I meant earlier, way in the beginning of this recording. Like, I don't hate Boba Fett. I think he's cool, but that's it. He looks cool. I just never really see him do anything other than that. But I could see that being a possibility. Like maybe he killed,
so I mean, Boba is supposed to be Boba and Jango is supposed to be the baddest Mandalorians of all time.
Yeah, and
right?
on record.
Like in their lore, like on record.
Yeah.
So Mando just killed something that allegedly killed the Sarlacc.
Oh, yeah.
So, I mean, maybe they could do it as something like you said to boost Boba's rep, because that's really all Boba ever really did in the original movies was stand in the background and.
Yeah,
I'll say we don't have a lot of track history on Boba.
Yeah, and then like the nerds, like over the years, we're smoking a ton of pot, and we're like, dude, this guy's got to be a badass.
Yeah.
We've seen him do nothing. He's a badass, bro.
Yeah, the closest thing we've seen to action is his guy getting his head cut off.
Yeah. Yeah, like there was I don't know if you ever
doesn't even react.
No.
The way Jango dies is so bad. Like
it was. I can't defend it. Like I defend the prequels to a certain degree in the sense of they're funny, but like in episode 3, it's legitimately I like it a lot. But
you know, okay, you know what I can't go on with this all day, but what I can't get about the prequels is how do all of them, like except Revenge of the Sith was awesome, but the first two, they both suck.
Okay.
But how are they both so bad, but still both have like some of the best scenes in Star Wars history in them? Like in Attack of the Clones, we finally get to see Yoda.
Yeah.
Like in a lightsaber duel. And I mean, the Phantom Menace, the Duel of the Fates is probably the best lightsaber fight in the history of the series.
yeah. No, for sure.
But it's the worst movie in the series.
Yeah. No. Most of that I lent towards George Lucas. I know people have issues with him. I used to have like some when he made like the special editions and like even when they were released on Blu-ray, and he never released the original film. But I lent that towards him, like giving some iconic moments, and then as opposed to the Disney films where that's debatable. I'm not gonna say they don't, but you know, there's a little bit of a difference in style, I guess. I'm trying not to be all like hating anything. No. I like all 9 movies for different reasons and fans say. But at the same time, I don't want to be a complete Disney chill or whatever the word is.
Yeah.
But I'm trying to think what was the other thing I was gonna say. Okay, so for me, the Timothy Olyphant thing was a what do you call it? This was a thing that got brought up during the summer that got confirmed to be the Marshal guy, that he was going to wear the Boba Fett armor. And so after they revealed that, Disney kind of played it down. They wanted to keep everything a secret for The Mandalorian. The reason I'm bringing this up is that there is a lot of other characters or certain things that they want to do. And I don't know how much stuff in Star Wars you've seen, but there's like other characters and actors that they said that's going to be in season 2, and just seeing Timothy
Ahsoka.
Ahsoka, that's it.
Yeah, okay, yeah. I don't want to say Ahsoka, and then everyone be like, "Who's that?" And I'm like, "Oh," because she's my favorite.
Don't worry, Mark. I think we're all nerds here too.
Thanks.
I got you that Ahsoka figure. It's in the mail, man.
Thank you,
it's in the mail.
Dude, thank you so much for that, man. I was telling I was telling one of my friends yesterday about that, and he was legit jealous. He was just like, "What the heck?" Honestly, here in the Valley, it is hard finding like anything Star Wars related that's new. We usually have to wait like months for something cool like that. But thank you, man. But the thing was, man, what's the question I was gonna say? I kind of lost my train of thought there. Was there any casting rumors or stuff that you heard through like online about season 2 that you're like, oh, I guess the better question is, what is your speculation for season 2? Like, what do you want to see? Is there any characters you want to show up or events you want to like fights and stuff?
Well, I definitely want him to meet back up with the guild. I want him to that for sure. I want him to find these Mandalorians. I want definitely to see. I mean, we got a heavy Mandalorian. We found armor. We got a couple different. I mean, but as you know, Mark as well, all these new figures coming out. Like, I want to know what the Super Commando Mandalorian is. I want to know what all these new action figures are coming out. I'm like, where did these come from? I don't. Now, granted, I never watched like Clone Wars or any of the animated series stuff.
Well, the ones from the recent wave, the Super Commando of Mandalorian, and the one that has like horns and stuff.
Yeah, Darth Maul.
Yeah,
the Darth Maul Mandalorian.
yeah.
Hey, this sounds badass.
Yeah, no, it is.
Oh, I haven't seen this yet. Yeah. I haven't seen this yet. That sounds awesome.
If I could recommend, I mean, I would say watch all of Clone Wars, but if not, watch the last 4 episodes of the Clone Wars, because the last 4 episodes tie in during the events of episode 3, and during that event, Darth Maul is in control of Mandalore, which they've mentioned in the Mandalorian. Well, not Darth Maul specifically, but Mandalore, the planet. And so he has his own clan that use red and use horns for their armor to show their appreciation for him. The Super Commando clone Mandalorians, those are they're the ones that are trying to get Mandalore back from Darth Maul. They're the ones that are that serve under like Bo-Katan, who's another character in the Clone Wars. So, but no, I get what you're totally talking about. Like, I want to see other Mandalorians, other stuff about the lore. Like, even for me, like, I've seen Clone Wars and Rebels, and they show Mandalorians. They show the siege of Mandalore. They show like during the original trilogy them getting the planet back. But the problem is the Mandalorian kind of gives more of a mystery as to what happened in between the original trilogy and the show. So there's a lot of things I don't even know. So I want to see other Mandalorians, and in the sense of I want to see more story detail. Like a lot of people think Mandalorians don't take off their helmets, but for me, like they said it in Clone Wars that it's a clan. Like Mondo's clan does not take off their helmets, while Bo-Katan and other Mandalorians, they have their own creed, their own rules and stuff. But essentially, they're all Mandalorians. They just do their own. You know, they do their own thing. So it's
Methodist, Catholic, all that good stuff.
Exactly. That's literally what it is. That's literally what it is. So like, I didn't want to get too like.
I went there.
Yeah. Thank you. Appreciate it.
He did it.
Yeah. Great. Thank you. What about you, Luke? Is there any like predictions or stuff you want to see in season 2?
We got a preview of what Mando's life was. He was a foundling. He got picked up by the Mandalorians, and he was trained. I want to see more of the flashbacks towards then, because one, it's probably going to be a great story for honestly. 2, he comes off as a loner, but you know he has a soft side. He has the kid. I want to see if he had friends growing up in this in Mandalore. And I want to see the timeline with Moff, because there's a clear history of a confrontation between those two, but we haven't seen it yet. We heard a flashback in the first season. So I definitely want to know the whole story behind Moff and him too.
No, same. He's definitely a character that, I mean, he's only showed up in 2 episodes, but he made a really good impression. I have a dark saber in my wall. I don't think it's so far away in my room, but I have it like hanging because it looks cool. He made it look badass. I want to see more of that character. I do. When they do mention like and at least in the last season, the Night of 1,000 Tears, like when Mandalore got like they don't show that in I'm just giving my little nerd rant, but like it's they don't show that in Clone Wars, but they do show the night before all that happened, the night before Order 66 happens and everything. And the reason I want to say more on like, hey, check out at least the last 4 episodes. They do show that the Mandalorians were very like, they didn't like the clone troopers just being there. They didn't like people taking their culture and telling them what to do. So when Moff Gideon was giving off his little speech last season and all that stuff, there's a lot of preludes to like, there is a history with Moff Gideon. There's a lot of history with the foundlings, with Mondo himself, but they never showed it in that show. But I'm more than likely they're gonna show it here. And I guess circling back, I want to see that too. He's a good character. He's badass. I want to him having a darksaber is very as a fan, it's a crazy notion, because whoever holds a darksaber is the ruler of Mandalore, and Moff Gideon's not even a Mandalorian, so him having it, like, what does that dictate? Like, is he does that mean Mondo has to actually listen to him? Or in Mandalorian customs, it's like knights. You're able to do, or I guess in this case, like, I don't know what culture it is, but you are able to do a challenge and fight the person, and whoever dies, they win the darksaber. So I'm like, my anticipation is just seeing them fight, and and maybe Mondo being like the ruler of Mandalore or something. I'd be badass, but I don't know. Yeah. I'm going off in a different tangent. I'm sorry. Steve, what about you? What do you want to see this season or anything?
Well, I mean, again, now that we've seen that he's here, I want to see Bulba in action.
Hell yeah.
With or without the armor. I want to see Bulba.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Can you guys hear me?
No,
Can't
you're
hear
like
me?
cutting in and out. And
Yeah.
You're pulling a Paul.
Oh,
No, hey, that was
I pulled a
stuff.
Paul.
Now we're good.
Now we're
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
Now we're good because we made
Yeah.
fun of your brother. That's what.
Oh, but
So what did you guys get from me?
Zero.
All right. So I need to see Bulba do something because we know he's here. We've never really seen him do anything.
yeah,
With or without the armor, I need to see him in some type of action.
yeah.
And like you guys said, I'd love to find out more about Moff and everything that happened with Mandalore is obviously a must. And it's probably not something we'd get in this season or even the series, but I'd love to know more about the Marshal, Cobb Vanth, and what happened on Tatooine, because we see him get the armor, because the way they did that with the second Death Star crashes, and then the Mining Federation just moves in and takes over. It's just another occupying force. Well, I don't think he got rid of them just from that one scene we saw where he walks into the bar and shoots a couple of them, which was awesome.
Yeah.
But that's not all that happened there. There has to have been more there. I'd love to find out. I'd love to see more of. Yeah, I'd love to see more of his background and how he learned to use the armor so well.
Yeah, of course. When it comes to the Marshal, I feel like because I like their when towards the end of the episode when he gives the armor back to Mondo, I do like that there's like a mutual respect. They even said like, oh, I hope our paths cross again and stuff, and it was really nice. And for me, I'm like, oh man, I really hope something happens and where just like season 1 where Mondo needs help, and to see like the Marshal, Cara Dune, and like other characters like team up again, because I like that dynamic. I really hope that maybe something in the ending, like whether it's Boba Fett's armor or not, in my opinion, I would love to see the Marshal just have his own Mandalorian armor, like just because I mean, granted, he doesn't need it for the town necessarily, but it does help, and he does know how to use it well, and he does give respect, obviously, because he gave the armor back. But I want to see. Yeah, I agree, Steve. I want to see Boba Fett do something cool. I want to see what is the stuff fans say that he's a badass, because I've never seen it, and I ain't gonna read no comic books. I mean, I read comic books, but I'm not gonna read comic books about why he's a badass. Show me he's a badass, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I read one when I was like 12.
Comic books have pictures. I'm just putting it out there.
Because all the pictures.
No, actually, it was actually a book and not even one with.
Ooh, it was trade paperback
with pictures. Yeah.
Comic.
Okay.
Hey, I own a lot of paperback books.
Yeah.
I own a lot of paperback books.
I own a lot of paper. Okay. No, that's awesome, man.
It's mostly DVDs in there, actually, isn't it?
Oh my god.
What's Triple X mean in there, Steve? What's that?
Oh my god. That's funny.
No, so I want to clear something up too, because me and Tyler talked about this last night, because the guy that is playing Boba played Jango Fett.
Correct. Yes.
Right? That is not Jango Fett, guys.
No.
It is not Jango. He got his head cut off by Samuel L. Jackson. Okay? It is not Jango.
Yeah.
That is Boba. Okay? Yeah. Just clearing that up now.
If you get killed by Samuel L. Jackson, you can't come back.
You don't come back.
Like a Samuel L. Jackson killed, that's final. Yeah,
I saw some people, they're like, well, that's Jango. And I said, guys, the guy that played Jango, yes. But he had a son, so really, you'd think
a son who was a clone.
He's gonna look like his dad.
A son who was a clone.
Right.
So, yeah.
Right. He's gonna look like his dad.
They're gonna look the exact same.
Right.
Yeah. Like whenever situations like that come up, I'm like, oh my god, please don't be like, to myself, like, to my mind, I'm like, oh, don't be a nerd, Mark. Don't say, oh no, Boba Fett is an unaltered clone that has normal years, blah 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 blah, all that stuff.
Right.
Dude, I had to rewatch that ending shot like a second time because I guess because I was like, what? Like it was crazy, but I did like. I mean, for me as a fan, I knew that was Boba Fett. There is, I've seen the tweets from people saying, "How is Jango Fett alive?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, is this real life? People really?"
I said no.
Yeah.
But my real thing is, why is he rocking Sand Trooper weapons? Is that I didn't get a real.
That looked like a cycle rifle.
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I'm like. So that's interesting too.
Yeah.
So did he become a sand person?
Right?
I saw someone tweet out like, "Do you need to have seen the Star Wars movies to enjoy Mandalorian?" I'm like, I guess not, but
No, not
why?
really.
I had to bite myself back from writing on it. Like, what? Why haven't you just at least seen one of them?
Yeah.
Right.
Like,
Yes,
you haven't seen
exactly.
anything. There's plenty of movies that have been popular for a long time.
Right.
Yeah. Like, even for me, like so with the Mandalorian, you could literally just jump into it, never see the movies or TV shows. You'd get it. But the reason it's like, encouraging, like, hey, see at least the first 6 films and maybe the shows, is that it adds a other layer to why certain things are important. Like when the finale of season 1 happened, one of my buddies was just like, oh, that was so stupid. He had a lightsaber and everything. And then I kind of had to explain, like, oh no, the dark saber means you're the ruler of Mandalore, and he's not all that stuff. And that changed everything. It's like, oh, that's cool now. So you could watch the Marshal. You could watch Chapter 9. Never seen the movies. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah.
But if you see the films, you'll be like, oh wow, okay, that's a bigger deal. Why is Boba Fett armor is there? Why does he show up in the ending?
If you watch the films, you can just hear them say the name of a place and be like, oh.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah.
Like you just get amped up. Like they say Tatooine in Mando, and I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, man, we're going to fucking Tatooine.
Yeah,
right?
Dude, we're going to
yeah.
Like, what's good, Tatooine, bro?
Yeah. Hey, Mark, what do you think? Did you notice the Marshal speeder?
Yes, I was about to talk about that.
Yeah.
So okay. So I have my own thoughts about that. Like, it's a pod racer, obviously, or at least an engine of one. A lot of people keep saying, and I hate that. I saw one video that made me like annoyed, where I'm like, oh really? Where someone's like, hey, did you see the pod racer in episode 1? Well, I guess you'll never notice that's actually a thing in the Mandalorian, blah blah blah. And I'm like, I have eyes. I know what it is.
Right.
But it's like it's little things like that are like, okay. But I guess I thought that was really cool. But the speculation is it Anakin's pod racer? Because it looks similar to it.
It looks exactly like it.
Yeah.
It does look exactly like it.
Oh, it doesn't, Tyler?
But that's
I don't retain detail, I guess, that much, because I don't picture.
I mean, I think that would be like a little too much. For them to be like,
show me that timeline. Show me that timeline.
He's also got Anakin pod racer. If you guys want to know what happened to the pod racer engine, we've got the answers for you. It's like, you know what? There's a few other questions that I had actually before that one.
Like
the pod racer engine, you can. I don't need to know that time. That's what happened. You can just leave the pod racer engine got blown up.
Yeah. I like
there's no more pod racer.
Right.
It's gone.
That's it.
Yeah. I don't want to think it's Anakin's though. That's because that's too like, it's like the level of
that would be way too much fan service.
Yeah, because like I like aspects of Rogue One, but I noticed there's like times where it's like, hey, there's like Easter eggs, and I get it. It's cool to see. Like, I feel like Mandalorian does it in a tastefully like cool, clever way for like fans and stuff. Like even little things like, oh, a pit droid. Like my brother doesn't even like the prequels, but just seeing the little droids that do the pod racer stuff, it was like, oh, that's really cool and fits with the story because they repair ships. But I don't like to think that's Anakin's pod racer specifically, because I feel like you mean to tell me within 35 years since episode 1 to here, coincidentally that's the same pod racer. I just think that, you know, it's a pod racer engine, but it's somebody else's. It's just like a little.
Not everything has to be do with the Skywalkers.
Right.
Exactly.
But actually, on that pod, back to the pod racer, I did see an antique plate on that, and so it's possible. It's possible.
Yeah.
Now you saw an antique plate. Well, was it a rental or
Was it a rental?
Oh my god.
Yes, yeah. It was like
I just want to know what agency he got it from. Really?
Yeah.
Maybe
Jar
they'll
Jar's hand is still
sponsor.
stuck in there.
Yeah,
Maybe
Jar
they'll
Jar's
sponsor-
hands.
Oh,
The Sith
yeah,
Lord's
they're-
hand still in there? The Sith Lord's hand still in there.
right.
Jar Jar Binks is the Sith Lord behind everything.
Oh my god.
If I really hope we don't see anything to do with Jar Jar Binks.
Nah. The minute you get Bill Burr making fun of that in last season, I think even the creators know, let's not bring Gungan.
Yeah.
So we're all set there. There was a thing my brother told me that made me like laugh, and I guess it only works if like you've seen this old episode. My brother saw it this morning, the Mandalorian episode, and he told me straight up like, dude, they ripped off SpongeBob SquarePants. And I'm like, what are you talking about? And he said and I remembered there's an entire episode, and I remember where there is a giant gray worm that's about to eat Bikini Bottom.
Yeah.
And
why don't we take Bikini Bottom and push it somewhere else?
oh my god. It's like let's get Mos Eisley and push
push it somewhere else. Yeah.
And so I was like, oh man, this is
That's
literally
funny.
right?
That is funny. I was going for Men in Black 2 references. That's what I was going for.
Yeah.
That's what he
I
said.
said all.
Is that
I think it's George.
George or somebody?
Yeah.
That was in the tunnel in the train system, and he kept eating the entire trains.
Yeah.
I was thinking Jaws references when they going through the sand. Maybe we think a little too much into these things.
Yeah, just like I mean, after a while, like certain things are gonna look similar to other medias. So I'm like, could be. But other than that, I feel like I don't think I have anything else to think about when it comes to this episode. Other than it's great, it's awesome. The one thing that I didn't really mention, because it's not really a big deal, is like I like that lady that played the one that does the
in the hangar.
Yeah, because I liked her in season 1. I liked the Ellen Ripley look with the big hair, the 80s hair.
The Ellen Ripley look.
Dude, she does look like looks like Sigourney Weaver. It's like it's crazy.
It does.
And there's like an old Comedy Central show called Strangers with Candy, which is a show with Stephen Colbert, where they make fun of like after school specials for high school, and she's the main character. And so when as a fan of that show and I see her in The Mandalorian, I'm like, is this like, you know, as a dork, I'm like, it's really cool to see actors in other medias. Was there, I guess, unless there's something else, like another topic I'm forgetting.
The only thing is, so this takes place after the second Death Star, correct?
Yeah.
5 years after. Is that right?
I believe so.
So what Jedi are alive? It's only Luke.
Yeah.
Right?
Can we get Samuel L. Jackson in this series?
Possibly.
Isn't it like
by the way, I'm on the side that Mace Windu survived.
Well, I mean, after all, you know, Order 66, and then the other 3 episodes.
Oh yeah.
No, there had to have been a few Jedi kicking around
I mean, somewhere,
5 years after
right?
Order
So
66.
that's kind of what
I
I
mean,
was kind of getting at.
it was supposed to
Is
be a
there gonna
massive
be-
war to the greatest warriors ever, right?
Right.
Like,
Is there
yeah.
going to be more Jedi than just Luke? Because we know, you
Yeah.
know what I mean?
From my guess, other than Ahsoka, and she's not even considered a Jedi. She's a gray Jedi, if that's a term. Like she has, you know, she's a Force user. She has a lightsaber, but she doesn't really follow their ways wholeheartedly. Not in a bad way. She just doesn't. She has her own viewpoint on things. But as for other Jedis, I know there is a few. I know the video game Jedi Fallen Order, they do love on that. Like that there
Great
is
video game, by the way. Great video game.
I haven't finished it yet. I'm almost done.
I haven't played it at all.
Steve, it's seriously the best Star Wars game in a very, very long time.
Wait, hold on. Squadrons is pretty good. I don't put Squadrons. Squadrons is pretty good. I'm a dogfighter, so
I
Squadrons
just
is
like
good.
because it goes by like what is it called? Dark Order, not Dark Order. What's that video game called? I don't know, but I just like the way it's set up.
Yeah.
It's a great story.
But if we're going to
But the
mention
fact I can't get
Squadrons
over
at
that
all,
guy that looks from Stranger Things, or is it Stranger Things, or is it one of the?
I know he's in
that.
that show Shameless, but
Yeah, Shameless. Yeah, I can't
It's a great
unsee that. He is that guy, but
yeah. Were you gonna say, Steve, or I don't know?
since you guys mentioned Squadrons, I have to point out they are making Red 5 movie, I think, still at least, and that's one of the things I'm like most excited about with their with Disney's slate of Star Wars movies. There's a Red 5 movie sounds badass to me.
They're also supposed to remake Squadrons, as far as I know.
Like,
It's supposed to be a video game for PlayStation 5.
oh really?
Not just an update, not just like an
No,
upscale.
No, it should be. They was
Just
released-
PS5 or?
Oh, I don't know.
Oh, okay.
But I know it was in the works to redo Squadrons to have it out.
That'd be
So
really
I think
cool.
Sony should sponsor Blue Collar Media Group
You're right, absolutely.
and send us all PlayStation 5s
Yeah.
Yeah. For,
with all the games, and
Yeah.
that's
hey,
It's legit.
that's a good idea. Well, we should we'll tag them in the tweet of this
Yeah, we'll
episode.
be sure to
We'll
throw it
make
in-
sure they
in
see
the
this.
link
Yeah.
below. Yeah.
yeah. Oh my God. But like to the question thing, when it comes to other Jedis, I feel like there is like the video game, at least from how far I went to it, there is other Jedis in even in the other TV shows like Rebels. The way that show ends connects to Mandalorian in a way, because Ahsoka and another Mandalorian named Sabine Wren, they are looking for their friend Ezra, who went missing, who's a Jedi. And it ends like that. It ends on, ends on that series. And people are speculating that that's how the Mandalorian meets up with Ahsoka and Sabine. And they even show her, apparently, in the first season 2 trailer, there's a lady who like shows up with a cloak and then she disappears. And people are speculating that's Sabine Wren, who's another Mandalorian. And so when it comes to Jedis, there are out there. I know that's a plot element that Dave Filoni, who's the showrunner of Star Wars Rebels, he's also the showrunner next to Jon Favreau on this show. I'm pretty sure he's going to add in that plot element here, and maybe make it a little bit more, make the story make sense for casual viewers, because otherwise that'd be really bad. Like, hey, watch 4 seasons of a cartoon show to understand this. It's
Right.
too much. But as for Jedis, there's more out there. They just don't really. I just think Disney just doesn't know how to make it make sense in the world of
Grander scheme of things,
yeah
basically.
because Force Awakens, well, the sequel trilogy, that event happened in a span of like a year and a half. Like there's no gap or anything. And then when you watch the cartoon show Star Wars Resistance, they do give a little bit like of a hint that there is other Jedis. They just don't know what a Jedi is, because there's 30 years of like Luke had his temple burned down. There's no other Jedi, so it's like, what do I do? What do I do with these powers? So I'm pretty sure they'll show something down the road.
I don't know. How could anyone ask what do I do with these powers? It's obviously I move my beers over to me with ease.
I was just gonna say that. I was just
Like I can get beers out of the fridge, no problem.
Yeah, sure. I mean, oh my god.
I would never have to get up while working on.
Yeah,
the car to get a
I don't.
wrench.
Yeah, like I never have to get up at all.
Yeah.
Oh, man. But oh my God. I mean, that is the dream, right? Like just to get.
Oh, absolutely.
And I'd have a badass like laser sword that
Yeah.
I could go about like Obi-Wan did and just chop off people's hands if they ask me questions that offend me.
Oh my god. Oh man. But I oh my god. Well, yeah. Other than that, I don't know. Do you guys have any closing thoughts on this episode, or?
What's everyone's thoughts on so Mandalorian or Mando was like a big I'm not doing droids, I do it myself.
Yeah.
Then here we are, first episode after IG-11.
Yeah.
You know, they had a little bromance, and now he's like, yeah, go ahead, work on my ship. Yeah, do this. Now, you know what I mean? So it's going to be interesting to see in the episodes where does he start using droids? Does he have backup droid? Does he have, you know what I mean? What's next? So I think that's something to look at.
Yeah, no, like that change.
If he's gonna have a droid, I just hope it's not C-3PO.
It's funny because like in the comics, the recent ones, there's a protocol droid that looks like C-3PO, but it's like all black, and there's a joke where. Yeah, and I know they call it. There was a joke. I'm just saying, like, you know, that'd be cool if they showed him. I know the only reason I know of that droid is because there's like a meme where they call them Creepio, and there's like a whole web YouTube channel where they make fun of Star Wars, and they call C-3PO Creepio because he never blinks his eyes and his mouth is always open. And I'm like, yeah, that is creepy. That's kind of a weird robot. But yeah, I agree that the whole droid aspect is really neat. Like in the sense of he has a different like perspective on that. It makes me think like if they brought back Boba Fett, like would it be kind of weird if they brought in IG-88 from Empire Strikes Back? And I'm not saying make him like the same exact like he's a good guy or anything, but like make it a little bit conflicting. Like, oh, here's a droid that looks like the droid that helped them out in the last season, but he's a bad guy. You know, he's gonna kill people. I don't know. Just I'm ranting on that. But Steve, do you have any closing thoughts or anything about that?
It's badass.
Right?
I'll just say that again. And you know what? I'll say this. They clearly got a budget, a pretty good budget for this show, which I like that they shelled out the money for it. Like, I mean, the first episode of the season, we have them taking on a creature like that. That's like they've got some cash to throw around for this episode. I think we got Timothy Olyphant and that big ass creature and Boba Fett in the first episode.
Yeah,
it's because like they opened Star Wars at Galaxy's Edge. It's Galaxy Edge money.
Which I'm suggesting that's the first trip with Blue Collar Media Group is Galaxy's Edge.
Yeah, dude. Oh my god, that'd be sick.
Is marijuana legal there?
I mean, everything's legal till you get caught, Steve.
Yeah,
that's true.
It's Florida. It's lawless, anyways.
Coronavirus doesn't exist. Yeah.
I'm pretty sure all of us can find pot in Florida fairly easily.
I think we're fine.
Oh my god. You could just do it, like just smoke and then just say, oh, they gave it to me. It's a Star Wars substance from this one episode, you know, like put some Star Wars
death
lingo.
stick. Let me alone.
The building droids.
It's a death stick, guys. It's totally fine. Like, oh, okay, yeah, you could smoke whatever. It's all good. But I guess that's it about at least about this episode. I really thanks guys for joining in and talking about episode 9, the Marshal. it'd be awesome, if you guys were to, join in on the, next week for the next discussion about the next episode. Because I'm really,
I'm in every week. Absolutely. I need somewhere to say these thoughts.
Right.
'Cause I work on construction sites. Like, I work with a bunch of like ex-cons and shit like that. I can't be like walking around like, dude, did you guys see the newest episode of The Mandalorian? Do you want to talk a little bit about your thoughts and what's coming?
Like is Mandalorian new gang? Are you trying to get us involved in?
Yeah, like what's up with Mandalore, dude? Is that a new club or something that all the kids are hanging out at? What are you talking about right now?
Got that Mandalorian.
They just go up to the super like, dude, I think that kid's on something.
Like,
who's this parole officer? We might need to.
Yeah. This kid's on acid or something. Yeah. He's saying things that don't even make sense to me.
Like, this guy's talking about Boba Fett. I don't know what drug that is. Who's this Mondo guy, and what's his fashion? I don't get it.
He's trying to find his people.
Right?
Yeah. He's asked me if he thinks he'll be able to get the child back to his people. I don't.
Yeah. It's just a watermelon.
Yeah.
Just carrying around a watermelon.
And then he showed me a clip from like one of their podcasts, and one of them asked how much for the children, and I don't know what's going on here, guys.
Yeah.
like just from like hearing you, they're like, man, I think Steve's dealing with like some adoption issues. He's talking about finding the child. Man,
dude, not even that. Are you kidding me? They'd be like, I think there's some human trafficking going on or something here. We're gonna have to call Homeland Security on this guy.
Oh man, that's funny. But for sure, like I'm down. I can't wait for the next episode. I really am thankful for you guys to be here. I'm trying to think, how does Ernest do this? Like, I guess like let's close out and see what connection, like what where people could find you. So I guess Luke, I guess you start.
Yeah, you like I said, I'm not your father. Okay. I send 50 cents to Disney, and I keep 50 cents. So we're just gonna keep that going.
I don't even think you get to keep 50 cents, dude. I think you're exaggerating.
But you can follow me on Twitter at Hearts on Hockey. You can catch me on the Blue Lot Boys ITL every Wednesday, and we usually put out our podcast, the Blue Lot Boys, on Fridays, so you can get your picks in for Saturday. So. Just give us a follow, give us a listen, and let's have some fun.
Okay. Sweet.
All right. And you can find me on the Blue Lot Boys. I run the @Blue Lot Boys Twitter page. And my personal one is @CigarsAreLife56. And let's get to episode 2, boys. I like it.
I'm the general @Reisner_Steven on Twitter. You can find www.bluecollarmg.com, or you can find me on pretty much any one of our podcasts, talking shit. And I also just Tyler mentioned cigars, so I'm just going to throw this in there. This episode was brought to you by www.livingmybestcigarlife.com. Don't just live your best life, live your best cigar life. Use promo code MYBESTCIGARLIFE, all caps, get $10 off your first order. Did I do that
well
right?
Played, Cam. Well played.
Yeah.
I don't usually do the sponsor plugs.
Yeah, that was pretty good.
That was a good spin.
Yeah.
Like I've never done a sponsor plug, so that really helped me out. Like everyone follow these guys on their stuff. They're all awesome. They're all amazing. They all have really great podcasts. I should know. I edit for like some of them, so it's great. But thanks guys for joining in on this, and to episode 10. I can't wait for that. So thanks. Appreciate it.
I just pissed we have to wait a week.